Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. And today is February 24. Tomorrow is February 25. Yes, no classes tomorrow. Why? Why? Well, people would say it's EDSA Revolution Day. Now, it's been 35 years since that revolution started. Okay, and today we're just going to focus a look back, a throwback at this particular historical moment that happened 35 years. So stay back for a while and just so let's watch this particular news. 35 years
This Week with David Brinkley. Now, from our Washington headquarters, here's
This
David
was
Brinkley.
news
It's
air.
all changing by the minute, but from our
Yes.
open line to the Philippines, here's what is happening now. There is a mutiny, military and civilian, against President Marcos and his government. The defense minister of the Philippines and the second in command of the army are holed up in a fort surrounded by friendly troops demanding that Marcos resign. The fort is
That's
surrounded by civilians also,
Enrile,
including
no?
women, Catholic priests, nuns, supporting the mutiny. Marcos talks of attacking the fort with artillery, but it is said some of his military units refuse to take orders from him. We'll stay on top of it. All here on our Sunday program. First, a report from Manila from ABC's Jim Laurie. Jim?
The standoff between rebellious military elements and Marcos loyalists began Saturday as helicopters supporting members of the so-called military reform movement ferried in weapons to the camp housing the nation's defense ministry. The defense minister, Juan Ponce Enrile, and the deputy chief of staff, General Fidel Ramos, leading the reformists, had decided on mutiny against President Marcos.
As of now, I cannot in conscience recognize the president
You
as
know,
my
guys,
as the commander-in-chief of the
I
armed
was
forces.
able to
I
see
call upon
those
now
news
everyone
clips.
who is imbued with a sense of justice and respect for the law to disobey the orders given to them.
The two, both longtime friends and Marcos supporters, both accused the president of cheating Corazon Aquino out of victory in the
Yes, I
elections 2
remember
weeks
that.
ago. The mandate of the people, they said, rightfully belonged to Aquino. Angered by the rebellion, Marcos took to television, accusing them of plotting a coup d'etat.
They were part of an aborted coup d'etat, an assassination plot against the president and the first lady.
With that, Marcos threatened to bring the mutiny to an early end, but for the first 20 hours at least, did nothing. By dawn today, popular support for the military rebellion had grown large. The rebel leaders praying at impromptu morning masses. General Ramos holding out at one military camp, calling for support from units from around the country. And Minister Enrile commandeering the complex housing the Ministry of Defense. By midday, still awaiting a move by Marcos, the two altered their strategy. Enrile, brandishing a small Uzi machine gun, abandoned his base at the Ministry of Defense and marched to join Ramos at Camp Crame, the compound across the street. Enrile protected both by hundreds of armed men and the goodwill of Roman Catholic sisters. The defense minister reaching the main street greeted by tens of thousands of cheering supporters. Their chants of Cory Cory for Aquino turning to chants of Johnny Johnny, the nickname of the defense chief. And the military, as Enrile quipped, for the first time was earning popular love, not hate. Reunited with a buoyant General Ramos, the two vowed they would not surrender. They would hold out until Marcos resigned.
So the dramatic move to Camp Crame came, as Enrile put it, to consolidate their forces. From here, Ramos and Enrile continue their rebellion, uncertain what an unyielding President Marcos would do next.
And Marcos went on television for the third time in 24 hours, calling on the rebels to surrender. While acting with restraint, he warned what he could do.
All these points are vulnerable to even simple mortar attack or artillery attack. If we wanted to finish this in, say, 1 hour, we could.
Enrile later met that threat with one of his own.
We will not fire the first shot, but the moment they fire the first shot, I think we will be engaged, and they will find out that either
You could just
they will
imagine a bloody
annihilate us
revolution
or we
would
will
take
destroy them.
place during that
Finally,
time.
Marcos made his first move. A column of loyal Marines moved up the highway to Camp Crome. But the trucks and armored personnel carriers were met with an amazing display of what General Ramos called people power.
Let us pass. We are just told to go to jet ski.
Urged to show their solidarity with Ramos and Enrile by the Roman Catholic cardinal here, Jaime Sin, they halted the convoy, at first with prayer.
Thank you, Jesus. Touch the heart of every soldier, Lord.
And later with sit-ins, trucks, and buses blocking the way. The new military confrontation here appeared to dwarf the continuing efforts of Corazon Aquino to bring down the Marcos government. While the drama in Manila was unfolding, Aquino was in the southern city of Cebu, continuing a post-election campaign advocating civil disobedience. Today, returning to Manila, and before going into seclusion out of a concern for safety, Aquino made yet another plea.
For the sake of the Filipino people, I ask Mr. Marcos to step down now so that we can have a peaceful transition of government.
Yet faced with the mounting pressure from Aquino, foreign powers, the church, and now military rebellion, Marcos still seemed unyielding.
I will not resign on the say-so of, those who criticize my administration.
But for now, Marcos was in search of an effective way to deal with a popularly backed military rebellion. As the day ended, his forces in their first appearance on the streets were turned back, the tanks returning to base, the people cheering them on with the slogans and victory signs of Aquino echoing behind them. Jim Laurie, ABC News, Manila.
So, at this time, Marcos was still hesitant, refused to yield to the plea of the people. Okay, so let's continue. So, what do we expect? More people trooped to the streets. It was like a huge mass of people filling the streets of EDSA and other main streets, thoroughfares, especially going to Malacanang. And guess what, guys? It was a long holiday break. No classes for several days. Because at that time, the Philippines was at standstill. We don't know what would happen next. And so on the historic day of February 25, okay, we were met with these two coverage. One, the coverage of Mrs. Aquino's oath-taking at Club Filipino, and this one on national TV by the inauguration of President Marcos. That's February 25, 1986. And that was the last scene that I saw from Marcos. Because after that, there was a power blackout of the TV. We didn't see the end of the oath taking because it was already overtaken by the opposition group. And so, the evening of February 25, we hear the voice of Miss June Kitley aired on Radio Veritas. And it was like a very dramatic moment. And kahit ngayon, ako naiiyak, na Miss June Kitley announced that Marcos has fled. He left the Philippines. And wow, it was really victory. Victory for the Filipino people. I could not forget that evening. I was listening to the radio broadcast of Miss June. and could still hear her voice. Teary-eyed and galal-gal yung boses. She, she, did- she gave that announcement. At ako ngayon, teary-eyed din. No, I don't know, something in me, that caused me to be like this. But this really happened right before our very eyes. And ano ang hugot? What will be our hugot for this? After 35 years, looking back, we can see that the justice of God will always prevail. Yes, there might be corruptions, there might be oppression, there might be all sorts of oppression over, but still the justice of God will reign supreme. And we can hold on to that even now. Especially, are you aware that we're still in a revolution against COVID-19? How it could be solved the way the revolution of EDSA would be remembered. It's through our prayers. People prayed and God moved in his marvelous and miraculous ways. And this revolution of 2021, which started 2020, the COVID-19, we also ought to bend our knees and continue to pray. Oh God, heal our land. Oh God, heal our world. Because this is global, this is pandemic. So all over the world we are affected, and the powerful weapon is to pray. Have a great day, guys. See you. And if you like the content of this video, please comment below. Please like. And if you have not subscribed yet to this channel, please do so and be blessed. Also, hit the notification bell so that you will get all the notices that I have a new video coming. Goodbye, guys.